I feel this close to hitting 100K net worth. Welcome to First Gen Money, a YouTube channel for all things money and lifestyle from a first gen millennial's perspective. If you're interested in how to manage your money, grow your wealth, and invest in the stock market, then hit on that subscribe button because I release new videos every Wednesday on money topics. I wanted to make this video as a follow-up of what I've done since discovering FI, this video which I'll link up here, because I want to go into the specific numbers and how my net worth has changed since I even graduated in 2015, especially because I feel very close to hitting 100K net worth. So we'll start with 2015 because it is the year I entered adulthood, in the sense that I was now going to pay back those loans that I took out for school. So when I graduated in May of 2015, I had a negative net worth of $31,000. Negative net worth. I did not have a full-time job lined up. I was interning at a nonprofit for $15 a day and working on the side at a seafood restaurant. I was looking for jobs. I was applying, but I was not getting any offers. I was getting interviews, but I wasn't getting offers. During this time, I lived at home. I moved back home after graduating, just, I guess what I thought was to get settled in until I find a job and then can move out. So I was living at home, not paying any rent to my parents, but I did pick up a few bills here and there. I did own a car in the beginning of 2015. It was an old car. I bought it used, very used. It was 1993, 1994. I don't even remember what year it was. It was also this year that the car wasn't working. So it was time for me to get rid of it. And I sold it and decided I'm not gonna buy another car. I am going to get a job in the city full-time. I'm gonna be commuting 5 days a week. I don't need to buy a car for being in the suburbs. So I made the active decision not to buy a car. Also in 2015, it didn't cross my mind to open a credit card. And that's why all of the debt that I have had has been student loans. I did not want a credit card until I had a full-time job. A lot of this is because of the experiences I've seen with my parents and just how they use their credit cards and some of the negative stuff that, could happen when you overspend and don't have money then to pay your credit card in full. So I didn't open a credit card. Another thing I did do in 2015 was I felt very strongly about removing my Sallie Mae loan because I had a cosigner and I didn't want to keep putting that pressure on me to pay it off. So I wanted it to be the first thing that I paid off. So I don't know if it was in 2015 or early 2016 that I fully paid off just my one private loan through Sallie Mae. But either way, that was the first one that I needed to make a priority. So that was 2015. Now we go into 2016. Also have a negative net worth, but now it's at negative 24,000. Some things that I did. I continued to live at home. I started a full-time job. I started finally paying my student loans because the grace period was over. It was over in December. So now I was like, I really had a student loan bill. I was making $50K a year. This was interesting how it happened. I got a phone call actually in this basement. I got a phone call to offer me the position. I wasn't thrilled about the organization because I got some vibes, but I pick up and I get the offer. And I guess any new graduate or somebody who's been looking for a job for 8 months would be like, yay, this is great, thank you so much. But I kind of paused and I was like, I'm gonna need to make a decision here. And I said, thank you. I really appreciate this offer. I'm gonna need a weekend to think about it. I didn't make a decision. I didn't say, yes, I'm gonna accept this offer. I said I need to think about it. And so we were going actually upstate with our friends. And as we're unpacking, I get an email and it was my offer letter. And this time it said 50 instead of the 45 that was said over the phone. So I didn't negotiate, but I think taking a pause and letting the recruiter know I wasn't 100% like sold on this opportunity made her go back to the managers and say, you know, we need to add another 5K, or maybe they always had that extra 5K and she was just trying to lowball me in the beginning. Now, with commuting into the city, my transportation costs did go up because I had to get a monthly commuter pass. And so I was now commuting and taking the bus into the city 5 days a week instead of just when my internship was. 2017 comes around. Negative net worth, negative 12,000. We're really coming down now. And that's because 2017 was really the year of discovering FIRE, the year of discovering personal finance, the year of self-improvement in the money department. Around May that I was like, ooh, we need to start tracking our spending. So as I showed you in that other video with just what I've done since FIRE, like I started tracking every single dollar, but I became very aware of my debt and very interested in getting rid of it as fast as I could. So my initial goal was to pay off my student loan debt by the end of the year, or by the end of 2018. I also received a raise at the, I want to say beginning of the year. I went from 50 to 55K at my first employer. I changed jobs. I went to a different employer. I went from 55 to now 52, so I was making less at this new job, but I thought, you know, this is going to be a better opportunity for me long term. This makes sense because it aligns with what I want to be doing. This is exciting because it was also, 2017 was also the year that I started investing. Because I was hearing about, you know, all the things that I should be doing, I dipped my toes into investing in a Roth IRA. I didn't have access to a 401k like I mentioned, so I opened an account with Ellevest because it was hands off. It was a robo-advisor. They would do the work for me. We're in 2018. I am no longer in the negative net worth by the end of this year, because this is the year I learned about emergency funds and I said, I might need one myself. So I was gonna save 10K in an emergency fund because it just sounded like a nice number to save. That goal started in like early June. I didn't hit it until I would say October or November of that year. During that time where I'm saving up for an emergency fund, I'm not really putting that much towards paying off my loans like I was the year before, putting every paycheck. I was just putting like a little more than what was required of me. I also saw an increase in my pay. I went from 52 to 60K. Also around this time, Ari and I are like, okay, we think we might need to move out now. Ari has a job. I'm pretty okay with my job. Like, it might be time for us to move in together, as well as contributing to my Roth IRA. Like, there's so many goals going on at once. I have my emergency fund goal. I have my move out goal. I have my continue investing in your retirement goal, and then paying off debt. So all those 4 things were happening at the same time. We get into what I would say was a really exciting year, which was 2019. It was the year I became debt-free, the year I moved in with Ari, the year I ran a marathon. Like, a lot of stuff happened in 2019. I ended the year with a 25K net worth. And that was mainly because I had paid off my debt at this point. And I had my emergency fund and my investments. And part of this was also because I had asked for a raise. For the first time, I asked for more money instead of just accepting what was given to me. I said, actually, the 60K is not working for me. I need 72K. And I got 72K. Obviously, it wasn't easy. It was months of conversations of how I was going to get there. My company finally got access to a 401k, so I started investing in that and actually contributed, I want to say, 10,000 towards my 401k. There is some other money-related stuff that I think is important to touch on. So during the fall of 2019, I was set to run the New York City Marathon, and part of that experience was raising $2,000 for the organization that you're running to support. And when I signed up for the marathon in early 2019, that was the part that really scared me. Because yes, I can push myself to run 26 0.2 miles, but how was I going to get people to give me $2,000? Now looking back at it, I'm like, really? $2,000? You got this. Back then I was struggling with how that was gonna happen. It ended up happening. It was great. And we had originally planned for a trip to Japan after the marathon, but we ended up canceling it because I was stressing out about all these things associated to money. I was stressing out that I wouldn't have enough to, make up for running the marathon and that I would have to make up the difference. I was thinking about this trip to Japan and how much it was gonna cost us. And then I was like, I need to be debt-free in December. Like all these things happening so close together that we finally said like, okay, we'll cancel the trip to Japan for Danielle's mental health. That was, I think, a big learning for me. And I realized, wow, that's the scarcity. That's the scarcity that I have to get through, because I know in the end, like, it'll work itself out. Now we go into 2020. And I think it was 2020 or maybe it was 2019 where I discovered personal capital, which gives you your net worth. If you don't have personal capital, I'm gonna put a link in the description for you to open your account. So I ended 2020 with a 62K net worth. How did that happen? Okay, so 2020. Started out living with my boyfriend. We had our apartment in Brooklyn. We were living our best life. Around February, it was time to renew our lease. So we decided we're gonna renew our lease because we want another year in Brooklyn. Pandemic happens, world shuts down. I'm now working from home. We were having conversations about what it would look like to move back home. We still wanted to live together, but what would that transition be? And so we were thinking about it more seriously, I think in June, and finally just like made a decision. And in 2 weeks from then we were out. I also got a raise. So I was at 72 in 2019. Now I got a raise to 80K in July of the year. This year I also maxed out my Roth IRA. I started contributing even more money to my 401k now with this raise, but also with the fact that I don't have rent payment. I added a lot in my 401k at this point, contributed almost $12,000. Now, 2021, why am I saying that I think I'm gonna hit 100K soon? Well, my net worth as of today, July 20th, is 91K. It feels good. I think I'm gonna get there. I think I'm gonna get there by the end of the summer for sure. By the end of the summer for sure. This year has been more of the same, right? More of the same from the second half of 2020, where I am saving money because I live at home. I am maxing out, on track to max out my Roth IRA and 401k for the first year. Another big thing, if you have been following on Instagram, is that I asked for a raise. I was very deliberate about asking for a particular number, and I asked for 100K because one of my goals for this year was to make a 6 figures in my job, whether at this company or somewhere else. But I think we can make it happen at this company. I'm still waiting to hear back. If I hit the 100K net worth, it'll most likely be never having made 6 figures in my jobs. I mean, I just went through like my salary through the years, and that was a little history of my net worth through the years, because as I get so close to hitting this 100K net worth, I just get excited about just the determination that I've had, but also the opportunities that both my parents and Ari's mom have allowed us to have by welcoming us into their home and letting us be able to build our wealth in the process. Moving forward, as I continue to grow my net worth, I want to always remember that what matters is the experiences that you're having along the journey and not just the numbers that make sense. That's big, because I've learned along the way that that's really all that I'll remember are the experiences that I had, and not so much of like how it felt to like save another 2K. If you enjoyed this, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel so you get notified anytime I put out a new video. I will leave the resource to personal capital in the description so you can track your net worth and kind of follow yourself along this journey. But I will see you next Wednesday.